Peggy. Make sure that you align the T-square onto the horizon line. It has to be precise, otherwise nothing's going to line up in the end. Once you have the horizon line that you've been given, align to the T-square, tape the corners of the paper down. Reestablish your horizon line beyond the paper. You should be using wings of paper for this. I'm incorrectly drawing on the desk. So you reestablish the vanishing points by just taking a long, obvious line and projecting that until it meets that horizon line that you just made. So there's my left vanishing point. Same thing for the right side. Take a long, obvious line that's in the composition, align it, and when it meets there to the horizon line here, you've got your right vanishing point. So we choose where our light source is on the ceiling. It could be anywhere. I'm just going to pick a location like that. Then I need to figure out where its shadow vanishing point would be. I'm going to draw a vertical down from my light source. I'm not going to stop at any one specific location because I don't know where it needs to stop yet. So in order to figure out where the shadow vanishing points are, I will start by projecting back into the room. So I'm projecting across the ceiling to figure out where it meets the wall over here. So I line up the light source point with the right vanishing point over here and draw a line, and I stop where the ceiling meets the wall. Thank you, Todd. Then I'll need to draw another line coming down along the wall. Now I can't see where my back corner is there, so I need to reinstate that. It would probably be smart to do that before you do this endeavor, but so here's the back wall. I'm going to ghost it in with a dashed line. So the vertical, where it meets the back corner there of the wall, I stop at that point. Then from that intersection, I have to project back out into the room. So I align that point up with the right vanishing point, and I'm projecting out into the room along the floor now. This is going along the floor. So where it meets that vertical that I had drawn directly from the light source, I now have the location of my shadow vanishing point on the floor. So this is the shadow vanishing point for the floor. So remember how this whole projection process worked, because you're going to need it to figure out where the vanishing point is for any shadows that are cast on the top of this table and any shadows that are cast on the top of these arms right here, which I'm going to show you how to figure out where those are as well. The easy way to do it is, since we know that the front, this line right here, this vertical measuring line has accurate measurements, we can use that as a guide. We know that the table was established as 1.5 inches high. So if I make a dot on the vertical measuring line at 1.5 inches, I know what a true 1.5 inches is at the front of the room. Now I have to project it back. So I align that point up with the vanishing point on the right, and I followed along this invisible wall over here, and I stop right there because that's the corner of the room. Now I want to follow this wall right here. So I align that intersection that I just found right there with the vanishing point on the left right there, And when it meets the vertical on the wall that I used to figure out the original location of this vanishing point, all I have to do is align that point to the vanishing point on the right and project out into the room. And when it meets that vertical right there, I now have the vanishing point for, so VP for table shadows. Now, figuring out the vanishing point for the arms of the chair is going to be a little easier because the back of the arms of the chair already sit right up against the same wall that this vertical is on. So all I really have to do is take where the arm is there, align it to the vanishing point over there on the left where it went in the first place, and just draw a dashed line along here. And then when it meets that line right there, then I have to take that and project it out into the space again. And when it meets the vertical right here, that's now the shadow vanishing point for anything on the arms of the chair.
You got the vanishing point
And then from this point on, you have everything you need in terms of surfaces to work with. And the procedure is just like it was before. It's just you have to make sure that when you're finding the cast shadow for the box here on the table, you're using this vanishing point. And when you're finding the cast shadow for the legs of the table here, you're using the vanishing point for the floor. So if the box is casting shadow on the table, you have to use the shadow vanishing point that's established for the table. If you're drawing cast shadows across the arm, you have to use the shadow vanishing point established for the arms. But the procedure, all rays of light always come from the light source. That never changed. But so I'll show the cast shadow from this corner here. So I line up this to the light source, and since this is a cast shadow on the floor, I'll use the shadow vanishing point for the floor. And where they meet, that's the terminating corner of the shadow of the table. So that's part of the shadow right there, that line drawn there. And then these 2 points here, if the math is correct, should align to the vanishing point on the left. And of course they do, because my math is correct. Oh. And then from this corner here, I can just align to the vanishing point on the right over there. I don't even need to figure out where all the other stuff is. We know it's gonna extend beyond the table. So I'll just show how to find the cast shadow of this box really quickly. Light source will go off this corner of the box right here. So we draw a line off that corner right there. We need to use this corner, that's the bottom corner of the box. So we align that to the shadow vanishing point on the table, and because it's sitting so far over to the right, they don't cast a shadow on each other. So we wouldn't even see it there, so it's not even applicable.
I didn't know which corners to use to cast the
Which, well, if you know the light source, you can tell by the way it sits on the ground here that it's sitting somewhere to the right of this table, but centered on the table, but to the right of it. So you just have to pick the corners of the table that are furthest away from the light source.
furthest away
This right here is closest to the light source.
So you wouldn't pick that one?
You wouldn't pick that at all, you would pick the three. Now, the third one is over here. You would have to, in order to figure out where the cast shadow over there terminates, you would actually have to reinstate the parts of the box that you can't really even see anymore to figure out where that back corner is. So where they intersected right there, that's actually one of your points where the light source would go. It's just hidden by the box. The box is just hiding your view of it. But in order to figure out exactly where this shadow line terminates, we would have to, go off that corner to project the light source off of it like this. And we got to figure out where the bottom corner of it is down here. We got to go through the whole thing of ghosting the other corner. There's no need to do it in this case because it's hidden
Because
by.
because that line goes past the.
Yeah, it's hidden by the chair itself, so it doesn't matter that much to us. It's going to matter for some people in some cases, depending on where they choose to put their light source.
Like if you have a point